Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, I want to talk about why weak killers are important and why they're healthy for the game of Dead by Daylight. Because usually there's this idea in DBD that every killer we have to eventually balance to be really, really good. Now, I do think this is a really, really good thing that Behavior has been doing, and I think that when killers start to get really, really outdated, I think it's really, really important to give them a touch-up. I think that's really, really important. I'm looking at you like Myers and Trapper who probably need one. There's kind of no reason for characters like Myers and Trapper to be as weak as they are. And most of the reasons that they are weak is because the game has just grown in a way that has left them behind. The game has kind of changed and evolved in a way that their powers aren't really as functional as they used to be. And I think when in cases like that, it's very, very good to go back and update these characters and give them an overhaul and make them stronger and buff them. But I don't think that we should do this with every character in Dead by Daylight because it's actually pretty healthy to have weak characters in the game. So let me tell you why. So the reason that it's really, really great to have weak characters in the game is because this is a versus game. This is a me versus you game. And in any sort of game where there's a versus aspect, there's always going to be counters, techs, counterplay, anything like that involved. Even the weakest character in any game can't be beaten by the guy that just shows up day one. There has to be an accumulation of skill over time that helps you improve at the game and helps you more consistently secure your W's over time. So in order to, be able to gain this consistency, in order to be able to win more often and win more consistently, you have to learn these counters, this counterplay, these techs. And when you gain those abilities, when you start learning these skills, you are going to, have more fun in the game because the things that used to bother you and upset you are no longer going to do so. So in the example of Dead by Daylight, I'm going to use this very, very specific example of pig head traps because the pig is, kind of, and rightfully so, seen as one of the weaker killers in Dead by Daylight. Usually people put her bottom 5, and if they're being super generous, they put her bottom 10. She has an anti-chase ability, which is her dash, but it's very easy to avoid. Basically, her power is mostly in her head traps, which is kind of like a built-in slowdown, even though it's not that incredible. But essentially, if you don't know, I'll explain very briefly. When you put your head trap on, when a pig downs, you put the head trap on you, the reverse bear trap. It is inactive until a gen pops. Once the gen is activated, once a gen is finished, you have a timer. So you got to search the boxes all around the map up to 4 times, and you have to get your head off, or else your head pops. Yeah. Very spicy. But people have found that there's a lot of techs in counterplay that you can do to get around both of the sides of Pig's power, that being the dash and the head trap themselves. First, let's start with the head trap, since that's probably the more powerful of her abilities. So when you're first playing against a pig, you're very, very new at the game. You probably kind of just, get the hat on and then you don't know what to do. And you probably have had your head pop a few times. Everybody has, even the most experienced people in this game. You've had your head pop before because you didn't know what was going on. Do not lie to people. Some players, even though they're new, the moment they get their head on, they're already searching the boxes, right? Which is a good thing. That's what you should be doing. But one of the things you can do to counteract Pig that you learn by playing the game more often is that you can actually 99 gens so you don't put people on a timer. And you know this because when you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you are able to see the timer actively, on the characters. You can see who has a head trap. You can see if someone has one on. And if you see someone has one on at the bottom left side of the screen, you can decide to not finish your gen until you see that hat indicator go away. Because once that red timer starts, it ain't stopping until that hat's off. And, a lot of pigs, because they're weak, choose to be very, angry bacon is what I will say. They become angry bacon and they decide to essentially try to force your head trap to pop by forcing you away from the trap search boxes. So yeah, so that's a very, very good thing to do, is you can make the decision to 99 a gen and have that person buy that person way more time to get their hat off, which is a really, really good counterplay. It's a good example as well with her dash. Is that usually when a pig crouches, it's at a short loop, like usually one of those like path tiles. And what she's going to do is she's going to do one of two things. She's either going to send the dash, in that case you kind of just have to position yourself near the pallet and be ready for it, or she's going to fake it where she roars and then just stands up so she can get that distance on you really, really quickly. So there's a lot of counterplay to that. Like I said, if you think she's going to send it, just unfortunately, as boring as it is, just camp the pallet. But if you think she's gonna fake it, you can just leave. Like if you hear her roar and you're on the opposite side of the pallet, you can just go. Just leave the pallet and the dash won't hit even if she sends it. And also it gains you distance to go to the next tile to continue looping. There's a lot of counterplay to this character, and if you look at the stats, if you looked at the stats that Behavior recently released, Pig has, and consistently has, which is why she keeps getting nerfed, by the way, even though she's really weak, is because she consistently has really, really good kill rates, because before you learn these counterplays, she can be difficult. She can be difficult. Before you're a more experienced player and you learn these counterplays, she can be difficult. She can be difficult. Now, those of you who are more experienced players, how much fun do you typically have against a pig? How well does your results usually, fare against a pig? Because you know all these things. You know about 99 gens. You know about leaving the loop if you hear the squawk, the pig roar. You know all these things, so you do better in games and overall have more fun, because it's not just you like winning for free. It's because you learn things. It's because you know things. It's because you have hard counters to these characters, and they didn't come to you for free. You learned them. You spent the time to understand them, and you continue to execute them. And it shows that you have spent time in this game and rewarded you for spending time in this game and paying attention, which feels good. It feels good. Now let's take this on the flip side. Compare this to, say, if like every character in the game was, say, like Nurse and like Blight. Let's say if we just took like Pig, Trapper, Myers, Clown, some of the weaker characters in the game, and just made them on the same level as Nurse and Blight. Let's say all 30 characters in Dead by Daylight function at a S tier strength like Nurse and Blight, where there's very little counterplay. What kind of landscape does that look like? Do you feel like you are going to be able to have any sort of fun at all if every character, all 30 killers in this game, function at an S plus tier strength, where there's basically nothing to do and you just kind of like pray they're bad? Is that what you want? Is that the future you want? Because I guarantee that would actually kill Dead by Daylight. We say a lot anytime anything bad happens, we're just like, oh, this is killing Dead by Daylight, the game's dying. If you made every character S tier, like in terms of strength, or just had every character have very little to no counterplay, this game would die. Because like that leaves the survivors with basically nothing to do and nothing to feel good about. And that just feels bad. That just feels really bad. So you can't, like, while I'm generally an advocate of like updating outdated characters, having killers that have significant counterplay that people can execute is super important to having the game actually feel rewarding and great in terms of counterplay. Like, it's just like having those things makes the game feel good because you were rewarded for paying attention and learning things about the game. So if you have everybody slowly creeping away from a point where they have counterplay, you're removing that reward and satisfaction from people who actually spent the time to learn that counterplay and to, learn the game. So yeah, weak killers are important because they give satisfaction to people who actually learn how to get around them. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. That's going to be it for today's video. I do upload daily, though, so hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully I can see you there. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.